the number in the mirror. I moved into the apartment in Baltimore, Maryland, right before fall semester started. Old building, radiators that knock at night, floors that creak if you breathe too hard, and a bathroom mirror that looked like it had been around since the 70s. It was the mirror that caught my eye the first morning. Not because it was fancy, it wasn't, but because there was a little number scratched in the bottom right corner. 1. Just a single digit. I figured it was from the last tenant, or maybe some weird manufacturer marking. Didn't think much of it. Until the next day, when it said 2. Same spot, same handwriting. Like someone had added it overnight. I even wiped the mirror with cleaner, thinking it was some kind of residue. Still there. Fresh. Perfect. By the end of the week, it was up to 7. That's when I started taking pictures. And yeah, it was changing. Every morning, just one number higher. Like a countdown, but in reverse. And no, it wasn't a sticker. It wasn't condensation tricks. And no one else had keys to my place. On day 10, I got up early just to watch. Camped out in the bathroom with a thermos of coffee, eyes on the mirror. At exactly 6 a.m., the glass shimmered. Barely noticeable, like heat rising off asphalt. Then the 10 appeared, just like that. But that wasn't all. The reflection didn't match the room anymore. Same layout, yeah. Same toothbrush, same cracked tile, but different lighting. Slightly off coloring. And I swear, someone else was in it. Me, asleep, in bed, in the reflection. Like I was looking into a version of my apartment that was 5 minutes behind. I leaned closer. My reflection leaned closer too, but not in sync. Like it was delayed. Like it was thinking about whether to match me or not. I backed out of the bathroom. I didn't sleep that night. I didn't brush my teeth. I just sat in the kitchen watching the clock. The next morning, 11, in the mirror. The room was darker. My reflection wasn't asleep anymore. He was standing, facing the mirror, but not mimicking me. He was just watching. I covered the mirror. Duct tape, towel, whatever I had. Didn't matter. Next morning, the towel was on the floor and the mirror said 12. My reflection was grinning. I tried to smash it. Used a wrench from under the sink. Glass didn't even crack, like I was swinging at steel. I moved out on day 15. Left the mirror, the furniture, everything. Took my laptop and 2 bags, and never looked back. Last I checked, the place got rented again. Sometimes I wonder what number the new tenant woke up to, and whether the guy in the mirror still looks like me. The fridges do not match. I was sharing a rental in Louisville, Kentucky, with 2 other guys, Eric and Mason. Chill setup. Cheap rent, decent kitchen, and a secondhand fridge that came with the place. Slight dent on the bottom door, freezer up top, nothing fancy. Everything was fine until I noticed the yogurt. I buy the same brand, same flavor. Strawberry, red lid, always grab a 4-pack. I remember putting 3 in the fridge on Monday after eating one. Tuesday morning, only 1 left. I figured one of the guys helped themselves. Happens. But when I asked, both denied it. Eric even showed me his dairy allergy meds. Mason just laughed and said he hadn't even been home Monday night. Okay, chalk it up to forgetfulness. But then Wednesday, the opposite happened. I opened the fridge before work, and there were 5 yogurts. Same kind, red lid. Identical to mine. But I never bought more. I checked the expiration dates. Some were 2 weeks out, some were from last year. Now I was paying attention. Over the next few nights, I started tracking the fridge's contents. Took photos with my phone every night before bed. And checked again first thing in the morning. Stuff kept changing. Sometimes it was small. A bottle of ketchup would shift spots. The ice tray would be half full when I left it empty. Once, the eggs I boiled were raw again, but other times it was off in weirder ways. Things we never bought would show up. A can of soup with a label I didn't recognize. A Tupperware container with food inside that none of us claimed. Once, I found a beer can with a brand that didn't even show up on Google. Eric and Mason started noticing it too. We compared photos. Every night, stuff changed. But only between midnight and 6 a.m. And it wasn't anyone sleepwalking. We checked the Nest Cam in the kitchen. No one went in. One night, I couldn't sleep. So I stayed up, waited. At 2:14 a.m., I walked into the kitchen. Fridge was humming like usual. I opened it, and the light didn't come on. Not only that, the inside looked different. The shelves were reversed. The butter tray was on the wrong side. Even the magnets on the door had swapped places. I reached in to grab the OJ and nearly dropped it. The label wasn't in English. And when I looked closer, I realized something else. The fridge was deeper than it should have been. Like, way deeper. I couldn't even see the back. I leaned in, and the door started to close behind me. I caught it just in time, shoved it open, and I swear, for a split second, I saw another hand pushing from the other side. Same position, same motion, but not mine. I slammed it shut. Next day, Eric said all his leftovers were gone, replaced with containers filled with gray rice and boiled eggs. Mason didn't say anything, just packed a bag and moved out that weekend. We unplugged the fridge, got a new one, hauled the old one to the dump. But last week, I got home from work, and there it was, sitting in the driveway. Same dent, same faded handle. I called Eric. He didn't answer. And when I opened the door, the inside was completely empty, except for one yogurt cup. Strawberry, red lid, expiration date tomorrow. The silent move. I live in a quiet cul-de-sac just outside of St. Louis, Missouri. Most of the houses here look the same. Brick fronts, 2-car garages, little lawns. Nothing fancy, but it's got that suburban peace people always talk about. So when the house next door went up for sale, I wasn't surprised. The owners, an older couple, kind of reclusive, hadn't been seen much in the past year. The sign went up on a Tuesday. No open house, no tours, but then 3 days later it had a big red sold sticker on it. That was when things got weird. There was no moving truck, no sound, no yelling, no thumps of furniture scraping floors, no kids running around. Just silence. But furniture started disappearing. I noticed the dining room set first. You could see it through their front window. Classic oak table and chairs, dusty as hell. One day it was there. Next day, gone. I figured I missed the movers somehow. But I work from home. My office faces their house. I'm always looking out that window, then the couch vanished. The armchair. Bookshelves. One by one. The whole living room emptied out. But nobody came in or out. No van. No hired help. No sound. And every night, more pieces of furniture seemed to be gathered by the windows, as if they were being staged, like they were waiting their turn to leave. By the end of the week, the only thing left was a floor lamp. It stood by the window for 2 whole days, before it too was gone. That's when I decided to knock. No one answered, but the door was unlocked. Inside was spotless. No dust, no footprints, just empty rooms that smelled faintly of pine cleaner. I called out, walked through the kitchen, the dining room, and up the stairs. Every room was bare, except one. At the end of the hall, behind what I had always assumed was a linen closet, There was a door I had never noticed before. It was cracked open. I pushed it gently. Inside was another room, but it wasn't like the others. The ceiling was too low. The walls sloped oddly, and the floor was made of worn-down tile instead of carpet or hardwood. Furniture was stacked along the walls, pieces I'd never seen in the house before. A velvet chaise, a grandfather clock, a desk that looked straight out of the 1800s, and in the middle of the room, a small hatch in the floor. I bent down, touched it. It was warm. Before I could open it, I heard something behind me. Not footsteps, not a voice. Just a faint shifting sound, like something heavy being dragged across tile. I bolted, ran down the stairs, out the door, and straight home. Locked every door, pulled the blinds. That night, a new light came on in that hidden room. Soft amber glow behind the upstairs window I swore didn't exist until now. The next morning, the house was empty again. No furniture, no lights. But when the new owners moved in the week after, they started renovating. Tore out walls, added skylights, fresh paint. And when the contractors opened up that back hallway, they found nothing but insulation and beams. No door, no closet, no room. Just a blank wall where the entrance used to be. And yet sometimes when I pass by at night, I swear I still see that light, waiting to move again. The rain hat? I moved to Seattle last spring for work. Marketing gig at a tech firm, mostly remote. But I liked the idea of living somewhere with real seasons. Rain didn't bother me. Actually, I liked it. Felt clean, focused. Everything felt quieter. That's probably why I noticed the hat. It was my second week in the city. Walking home from the coffee shop, I passed this quiet corner where the sidewalk kind of narrows around an old oak. That's where I saw it. Black fedora, a little bent at the rim, soaked from the drizzle. Just sitting there like someone had set it down and forgotten. Didn't think much of it. Until the next day, walking to the pharmacy, I saw the same hat. 2 blocks over, on a bus bench this time. Same bend, same soaked look. I thought maybe someone was just moving it around for fun. Urban art project or something. Whatever. But then it happened again. Rainy Tuesday, hat was on the corner mailbox outside my apartment. Friday, it was leaning against a lamppost near Pike Place. Always alone, always wet, always a little darker than it should have been. I started joking about it with friends. Hat guy's making his rounds, I'd say. Even took a couple photos, made a dumb little Instagram reel. Then I touched it. It was a Sunday night, pouring like crazy. I'd had a long day, groceries were soaked through, and there it was, just outside my building door, perched like it was waiting. I don't know why, but I reached out, picked it up. It was warm. Not room temp. Actually warm. Like someone had been wearing it just moments before. I brought it inside, tossed it on the counter, forgot about it. That night, I had a dream. Except it wasn't mine. I was in some old diner, 1950s style, formica tables, a jukebox, humming low. Sitting across from a girl in a green dress, red lipstick, laughing about something I couldn't hear. My hands were clasped over hers. I could feel the warmth, the pulse. I woke up crying. Next night, it happened again. Different place. Rainy street, dark suit, standing under a flickering neon sign. Watching someone walk away. My chest hurt like I'd lost something I never had. Every night, new pieces. Always the same feeling. Sadness, regret, waiting. I started writing them down. Details, names, places. Some matched up with old directories I found online. Coffee shops that closed in the 70s. Addresses that hadn't existed in decades. Then the dreams got closer. I saw my apartment, my street. Same girl in the green dress, older now. Same voice. and I knew somehow that she had worn that hat once, or maybe she had given it to someone. One morning I woke up, and the hat was on my nightstand. I hadn't moved it. I tried throwing it out, left it in the dumpster. It was back the next morning on the kitchen chair. Last week, I gave up and wore it, just once, and I swear, for 5 whole minutes I felt someone else standing inside my skin. Not like a possession, just like I was borrowing someone's sorrow. And in that moment, I knew something. The hat wasn't just showing me memories. It was looking for someone, and it thought I might be her. Since then, it hasn't moved. Just sits by the door, dry now, somehow, waiting. And every time it rains in Seattle, I wonder if I should put it back outside. But I don't, because part of me wants to know how the story ends. The right-hand count. It started on a Wednesday night in Columbus, Ohio. Nothing special about the day. Worked my shift, microwaved leftovers, watched some reruns. Same routine. But when I crawled into bed and pulled the covers up, something weird happened. My right hand twitched. Not like a cramp or anything. Just a single movement. My index finger lifted slightly, then tapped against the sheet. Once, I figured it was nerves. I'd had too much coffee. Ignored it. Next night, same thing. Only now, it was 2 fingers. Tap. Tap. Still didn't really freak me out. I joked to myself that maybe my body was doing its own bedtime countdown. By night 4, though, it wasn't funny anymore. 4 fingers, one after the other, like counting. 1, 2, 3, 4. I wasn't moving them. I tested it, held my right arm with my left, kept it still. Didn't matter. The fingers moved on their own, slow and deliberate. I even recorded it, played it back the next morning. Sure enough, you can see it. Tap, 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 tap. I tried everything, sleeping on my arm, wearing a glove, even wrapped it in an ace bandage one night. Still happened. By night 6, it was a ritual. I'd lie down, heart already pounding. Wait for the fingers, watch them rise and fall in sequence. Every night, one more. By then, I'd stopped sleeping well. I kept checking the closet, the windows, the hallway light. It wasn't just the hand anymore. I felt watched. On the 7th night, I fell asleep with the lights on. Didn't help. Woke up gasping at 3:17 a.m., soaked in sweat. My right hand was pressed flat against the wall next to my bed. All 5 fingers splayed, like it was reaching. Night 8, I made my roommate Josh stay in the room. He didn't see anything weird until the count started. He watched my hand lift, 1 finger at a time, all the way up to 8. He left the room, didn't say a word, slept on the couch after that. Night 9, the tapping was stronger. It actually shook the bed frame a little. My arm moved without me, up and down, like it was knocking on something that wasn't there. And then came night 10. I didn't sleep. I waited. At 2:59, I was already lying there, hand uncovered, watching. At exactly 3 a.m., the count started. 1, 2, 3. I whispered, "Please stop." 4, 5, 6. My fingers were stiff, cold, like they didn't belong to me. 7, 8, 9. I held my breath. 10. And then something grabbed back. No sound, no movement in the room, just pressure. Firm ice, cold. Like another hand, fingers wrapping around mine. I yanked my arm away, hit the floor, crawled out of the room. Didn't go back in till sunrise. Nothing there. No footprints, no sign anyone had been in. But my hand felt wrong all day. Like it remembered something I didn't. I wear gloves to bed now, and every night I count backwards, just in case it's trying to start again. The low battery steps. I was staying at a roadside motel off Highway 95 in Nevada. Not by choice, my car overheated about 20 miles north, and the next shop that wasn't a gas station was in Tonopah. Towed it, got a room for the night while the guy at the garage ordered parts. It was one of those half-renovated places where the bedspread looks new, but the walls still smell like smoke. Whatever. I was too tired to care. First night, around 1:30 a.m., I heard footsteps above me. Not creaks, not mice. Actual footsteps. Steady, deliberate. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then pause. Then again. It sounded like someone pacing slowly, right above my bed. I figured maybe there was a second floor I didn't notice. Next morning, I asked the front desk guy, this half-asleep dude named Gary, if anyone was above me. He raised an eyebrow. There's no second floor. Roof's flat, HVAC, and pigeons. That's it. Okay, I said. Maybe it was someone walking around outside. Gary just shrugged. Not unless they were Spider-Man. Second night, same time, 1:30. Footsteps again, same rhythm. This time I stood on the bed and pressed my hand against the ceiling. It was faint, but I could feel the vibration. Directly overhead. Like someone was walking slowly, just inches above the drywall. Third night, I recorded it. Played it back the next day. Footsteps. Clear as anything. Then a pause, then again. But the weird part, every cycle, the steps got slightly slower, like a metronome winding down. Tick, tick, tick. By the fifth round, the delay between steps was almost a full second longer than when it started. Fourth night, it didn't start until 2 a.m. Then it picked up again. Same number of steps, same path, but even slower now. Like whatever was up there was running low on juice. I went back to Gary, played him the audio. He stared at the phone for a while, then said, "You ever see room 12? I hadn't. It was 2 doors down from mine. He led me over, unlocked it. Inside was stripped bare. No bed, no carpet. Just a hatch in the ceiling, barely latched. Maintenance guys used to store junk up there. We stopped bothering with it after the last leak. No one's been in for years." I climbed up. Dust everywhere. Old fan blades, cardboard boxes, and something else. Tracks, not footprints. Grooves. Like something had been dragging or pacing the same path again and again, wearing down the wood. There were marks on the wall too. Little dashes, like tallies. Some faded, some fresh. I took a photo. That night, the footsteps didn't come. But at 3:17 a.m., I woke up anyway. Because something tapped the glass of my motel window. 4 times. Then paused. Then again. Slower, like a dead battery trying one last time to be heard. I checked out before sunrise. The mechanic hadn't even opened yet. I don't care. I'll call him from the next town. I just didn't want to wait long enough to hear the knocking stop entirely. The Post-it Room. I stayed in this Airbnb in Charleston, South Carolina, for a quick work trip. Just 3 nights. Cute little bungalow, a block from the water. Had good reviews, decent photos, looked like a normal place. First thing I noticed when I walked in was the smell, kind of citrusy, but sharp. Like someone had just finished cleaning. Fine. Better than musty. Second thing? The walls. Every room had these weird, faded squares. All over. Hundreds of them. Some small, some big. Like someone had taped or stuck paper to the walls and then ripped them off. You could see the outline where the paint was newer, or maybe where the grime hadn't settled in yet. It was especially bad in the bedroom. I dropped my bag and just stood there. The walls looked like they'd been covered in post-it notes, floor to ceiling, random spots, no real pattern, but all removed, except one. Right next to the light switch, there was a single yellow note, faded handwriting in blue ink. Don't forget. That was it. No signature, no date, no context. I figured the host had missed it during cleaning. I left it alone. First night was fine. Ordered takeout, watched a movie, went to bed around 11. Around 3 a.m., I woke up. No noise, no nightmare, just this weird tight feeling in my chest, like I was being watched. I looked around. The room was dark, but that note caught the light from the street lamp outside, just faintly glowing yellow. I got up and took it down. Didn't sleep much after that. Next morning, I noticed something else. Every place where those post-its had been, I could feel them. Not physically, but like a presence. Little cold spots. Weird tension. Like I shouldn't stand too long in front of them. That night, it got worse. I was brushing my teeth when I caught movement in the mirror. Just a flicker. Like someone stepping out of frame. I turned. Nothing. But I saw where the flicker had come from. One of the bare squares near the bathroom door. I don't know how else to say this, but those spots, they were watching me. Not metaphorically. Not, I felt creeped out. I mean actually watching. Like pressure. Focused attention. Eyes that didn't blink. I barely slept the second night. Final day, I worked from a coffee shop just to stay out of the house. Thought about checking out early, but the place wasn't refundable, and I told myself I was being dramatic. That night, I taped a towel over the wall next to the bed. Didn't help. I woke up to the towel on the floor, and the feeling that someone was standing right next to the mattress, breathing slow and deep. I didn't open my eyes. Just laid there, holding my breath until morning. When I finally checked out, I wrote a quick note to the host. Just said, "Thanks for the stay." Noticed some leftover adhesive marks. Figured you'd want to know. He replied 5 minutes later. "Oh, they came back again? I thought they were gone." I didn't write back, but now, back home, every once in a while, I catch a glimpse of a faint square on my bedroom wall. Like a post-it had been there once. And some nights, I wake up at 3 a.m., feeling like I forgot something, or someone's reminding me. The still dryer. I was crashing at my cousin's place for a week up in Rochester, Minnesota. She was cool with it, but her apartment didn't have a washer and dryer, so she sent me to this coin laundromat just off the highway. Kind of on the edge of town, next to a shut-down diner and a vape shop that looked like it hadn't been open in months. Place was mostly empty when I got there. A couple of old-timers chatting in the corner. Machines humming. The usual warm detergent smell. I loaded up a washer, grabbed a soda from the vending machine, and sat down to scroll my phone. That's when I noticed the one machine that didn't move. Back row. Dryer number 17. Front load, chrome door. Clean, but just still. Not off. Lights were on. It buzzed every few minutes, like it was trying to remind someone it was done, but the drum never spun. Didn't think much of it at first, until I stood up to change loads and passed in front of it. The chrome door, super reflective, caught my eye. There was a face, not mine, not anyone behind me. Just a face. Brief. Barely there, but it looked like someone was standing inside the machine, right up against the glass, staring back. Blank eyes, like a mannequin, but not. I spun around. No one there. I waited a second, then stepped in front of it again. Nothing. Thought maybe I was seeing things. Bad sleep, whatever. Went back to my seat, kept watching. Every time someone walked by dryer number 17, they'd glance at it, just for a split second, like something caught their attention. No one said anything, though. Next day, I came back, had another load to do. Same dryer. Still not spinning. Still buzzing occasionally. So I took out my phone and decided to record it. I figured maybe there was a trick with the reflection or light. Just wanted to prove to myself I was being dumb. Recorded about 10 seconds, played it back. And in the video, the drum was spinning. Slowly. Real slow. But it was definitely moving. And right as it passed the front of the door, that same face showed up again. Except this time, it looked like it was moving too. Mouth slightly open, eyes tracking something. I froze. I looked at the machine again. Still. Not turning. Still buzzing. Back to the video. Still spinning. I deleted it. I don't know why. Reflex, maybe. Felt like I'd recorded something I wasn't supposed to. Third time I went back, I asked the guy behind the counter if dryer number 17 was broken. He just stared at me and said, "People leave it alone. Doesn't take quarters. We've had it checked. Nothing wrong with it. But no one can fix it either." "So it just sits there?" He nodded. "Sometimes folks hear it running, though. When no one's around." I didn't say anything else, but on my last day in town, I went back one more time. Just to see. It was nighttime. The laundromat was empty. I walked straight up to the dryer. Stared into the glass. Nothing. Then I lifted my phone and snapped a photo. Face. Same one. But this time, pressed up hard against the inside, as if it was trying to push through. And behind it, more faces. Dozens. All faint. All blurred. Like they were stuck behind the drum. I backed out. Left my clothes. Got in the car and drove until I hit the city line. I've never done laundry alone at night since. Because sometimes when I pass a dryer, even a regular one, I swear I hear buzzing. And something inside trying to turn. The blinking interval. I used to live on this quiet street in Concord, New Hampshire, just a short walk from downtown. Mostly older homes, big trees, one-way traffic. Peaceful, but with enough people passing through that it never felt isolated. There was this one streetlight at the corner of Warren and Pine. Not special or anything, just your standard metal pole and orange bulb. Except it blinked every 3.2 seconds. I timed it. Repeatedly. With my watch, with my phone. I even made a game of it. Walk past it and see if I could hit the blink perfectly. I got good at it. I figured it was a glitch. Maybe old wiring. Faulty ballast. But it never changed. Always 3.2 seconds. Night after night. Until it didn't. It was a Thursday. Cold. I remember that because I had my hands in my pockets, walking back from the store with a six-pack tucked under my arm. I rounded the corner and noticed the light felt off, so I stopped and watched, and timed it. 3.3 seconds. Not a huge difference, but I noticed. My brain noticed. It was like hearing your own name in a crowd. You don't know why, but something snaps to attention. Then the weirdest thing happened. As the light blinked, a guy across the street, jogger, earbuds in, stopped mid-stride and looked over his shoulder. Not at me, not at the light, just back, like he heard something behind him. Then two more people, woman with a dog, delivery dude on a bike, both turned their heads at the same time. Same direction. I didn't see anything, but that 0.1 second change, it felt like a ripple. Like the timing had shifted just enough to let something in. The next night, the light was back to normal. 3.2 seconds. I checked. but now I couldn't stop watching it. I'd sit on my porch with a beer and just stare. Tick, blink, tick, blink. It became this weird comfort, like a metronome keeping my brain from wandering. Until 3 nights later, when it happened again. 3.3 seconds. And right as the light flickered, my neighbor across the street, retired guy named Louis, stepped out of his house and stood completely still, facing the sidewalk, not moving, not blinking. Then, slowly, he turned around, looked right at the hedge behind his fence. I followed his gaze. Nothing there. But I swear, the dog next door started barking its head off. I tried talking to Louis the next day, asked if he saw anything weird. He just kind of laughed and said, "Must be the cold messing with my brain." But after that, I started noticing something else. Every time the interval shifted, even by a fraction, someone on the block would turn around, look behind them, always behind. I started recording it, used an app to log the flashes. The data showed what I already felt. Something changed in the pattern every few nights. Just a tenth of a second. Just long enough. And every time, people reacted. Even cars slowed down. Street cats froze. Once, I saw a kid on a skateboard take off, running full speed like something spooked him. Last time it happened, I was watching from my window. 3.3 seconds. And this time, no one turned. Except the light. It didn't blink. It tilted, just slightly, like it was leaning toward me. I don't live on that street anymore. But sometimes, when I close my eyes, I count seconds. And if I ever hit 3.3, I don't turn around. The stopped escalator. I used to work security at a mall just outside Atlanta, Georgia. Graveyard shift. Midnight to 8 a.m. Not glamorous, but it paid all right, and most nights were dead quiet. Only real excitement came from cleaning crews, and the occasional delivery guy, showing up too early. The mall had 3 levels. One main escalator, set in the center, another pair in the back corner that hardly anyone used. That's where it started. Escalator B3. Always broken. No one ever fixed it. Management claimed it wasn't worth the cost since foot traffic back there was so low. So it just sat there. Still dusty, with a little sign at the bottom that read, "Out of service." One night, I was cycling through camera feeds, half asleep, when I noticed something weird. Camera 24 angled on B3 caught motion. Not a glitch. Not a lighting flicker. A person. Walking up the escalator. Slow. Steady. Same speed like the stairs were moving even though they weren't. Looked like a man, wearing a brown jacket, jeans, old sneakers. Kinda hunched. Thing is, I saw this at 3:42 a.m. No one was supposed to be in the building. I radioed my partner Jenkins and headed that way. By the time I got there, escalator was empty. No one on the floor. I even checked the bathrooms nearby. Nothing. Back at the office, I rewound the tape. The figure was gone. Like, not walked off camera, gone. Erased. Just empty stairs again. Next few nights, I kept an eye on that feed. Same time. 3:42 a.m. Same guy. Same clothes. Same pace. Always ascending, but never reaching the top. The camera blinked. Tiny moment of static. And when it cleared, the stairs were empty. I saved the clip, showed it to Jenkins. He didn't blink. Just said, "You know they built this place over an old textile factory, right?" I didn't. He shrugged. Place burned down. Some workers never made it out. I thought he was messing with me. Urban legend junk. But then I started looking into it. Found an article from 1986. Fire at the Clifton Threadworks plant. 5 confirmed dead, 1 missing. Thomas Rayner, 31, last seen wearing, you guessed it, a brown jacket and jeans. The factory stood almost exactly where our mall's south wing sits now, right where B3 was installed. After that, I started documenting every incident, kept a notebook. Jenkins thought I was losing it, but he stopped making jokes once he saw the guy too. The real kicker? We brought it to the mall office, asked to pull archived footage. The feed from camera 24 didn't exist. They told us the camera was disconnected last year, but we saw it, night after night, until my last shift. Same time, same guy. Only this time, the escalator wasn't empty afterward. When the static cleared, he was still there, facing the camera, just standing at the top step, staring into the lens. I blinked, and the feed went black. I quit the next morning. Jenkins stuck around for another week, then called it quits too. Said the guy started showing up earlier. Now, when I go to the mall as a customer, which isn't often, I always walk the long way around. Never go near the south escalators. And I swear, even through the crowd, even with everything moving and loud and normal, that corner always feels too quiet, like something's still climbing.